Welcome back in from the sunny 9 News backyard. It just feels so good being out here. It makes you want to garden, and maybe you didn't do it for Mother's Day. This would be a really good weekend to start.
Absolutely, and joining us now to talk about what drought-resistant and colorful options we might have this year is Ellen Becker, owner of Floral Culture and a member of the Associated Landscape Contractors of Colorado. First off, thanks so much for being here and bringing all of this color to our lives today.
Thank you for having me. Pleasure to be here.
Thank you. Let's start on this side, and we'll start moving our way this way, because I see not a lot of color here, and that's not everyone's preference, right?
That's right. A lot of misconceptions with succulents is that there's not a lot of color, and this is what we see with hens and chicks, or your typical kind of succulent green options, which give a lot of texture, but a misconception is that we lose color. So what I've brought today are some options that can substitute out more traditional plants that we usually use. Petunias are popular, but these take a lot of water. The bigger the blossom, the thirstier the plant. So we can maintain that same color scheme, respect our color wheel and our palette with a succulent plant here. Same with our potato vine. It's a chartreuse, which is opposite on the color wheel of magenta. Also a bigger surface area for evapotranspiration, thirstier plant. We can use a sedum as a replacement and still honor our color wheel. So that's kind of the scheme here. A lot of people love zinnias. They have two tones. These always get powdery mildew by the end of the season. A good substitute, lantana, more drought tolerant, disease resistant. So if you pay a little more attention at your local grower, you can find all kinds of substitutes that'll help with our water restriction.
I love that you can still get color, because that's like you were talking about, right? Like when you think of, oh, I have to get something drought resistant, I'm always going to lean towards, and to me, these are beautiful plants, but I'm like, color is just not going to make it, and you've got so many options here. How are we able to keep them alive? You say they're drought resistant, but how much water do they really need?
Well, a lot less than your traditional stuff. Like this is Plectranthus, that's a variegated trailer. That's our thriller, filler, and spiller concept with our ratios for our planting displays. So we want something that trails, but you want a more drought-tolerant one would be the Tradescantia here, also variegated. So it depends on how big your pot is and what your sun exposure is for how much water you'll need. And the best tip is just to test it with your finger, go about an inch down, see how much moisture you have. But these guys can take a lot more stress.
Yeah, Ellen, I'm curious, this spring, have you seen people coming in looking for different options than they normally would because of the drought?
Yes, definitely. But a lot of people don't know some of these alternatives. So I've seen a lot of people buying the traditional stuff, which I know is just going to, under these water restrictions, it's going to be more stressed out, more disease prone. And, like I said, zinnias get powdery mildew every August. So with even more stress on the plant, it might get that disease even sooner. So it really behooves us. Lantana is really one of my favorites. This guy's
so
fragrant.
Pretty. I love the two-tone.
Yeah, and it attracts butterflies, pollinators. You don't have to deadhead it, and it can take a little more drought. It's just a little bit tougher than some of the more popular stuff that people use more commonly.
I'm going to show how much of a novice I am. What does deadhead mean? Do you know?
Cutting off the tops.
That's right. When it's done blooming, you can cut off the top blossom.
And that will help it sustain for the next year.
Reblooming.
You learn something
but
new
not having
every day,
to do
everybody.
That
one less thing to do.
For those of us who don't know to do that.
Right.
So, okay.
Yeah, and you can still maintain, like I said, the color wheel. We've still got purples, deep tones, two-tones. There's just a lot of options that we can still work with, and you don't have to give up color just to do succulents. So I just want to make that clear.
There is
That's
hope
a misconception.
I love
There
that.
is hope, yeah.
No, truly. I'm going to start leaning for a little bit of color. All right, Ellen, we learned a lot today. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Time to get planting.
That's right.